Hey there, this is Jen Kitzmiller, meteorologist here at the Weather Service in Missoula, and I have your fire weather briefing, which was recorded on Sunday, July 28th. So I always like to start things off with a water vapor satellite imagery. And so yesterday we had a strong dry cold front come through. That front has made its way well into the Dakotas, which is leaving us here in western Montana and north central Idaho in pretty dry air. Further south, I'll draw your attention to our area of high pressure, kind of sitting over the desert southwest. You'll notice there's still a fair amount of moisture caught up in this area of high pressure, monsoonal moisture. And so some of that moisture is going to be slowly working its way back into our neck of the woods as we move through the week. So for the overall pattern this week, not really a lot of change is going to be occurring. That area of high pressure does look like it's going to kind of strengthen over the Four Corners area. So that's generally going to leave us here in a weak ridge of high pressure with a little bit of a southwest flow aloft. So that's going to translate to relatively warm temperatures. The temperatures and the humidities that are shown here are actually the forecast for Tuesday. But we're really not going to see much variation in this from day to day. Most days we're going to see upper 80s, low 90s in the valleys. Relative humidities in the 20% range. There may be a few periods where we drop down into the teens. But for the most part, there's just not going to be a lot of change in temperatures and humidities. And these values are actually right about what we would expect for this time of year. Here over the next few days is actually climatologically when we would expect to see our highest temperatures of the summer. And we're running right about average for where those should be. And as far as wind goes this week, there's not any big wind events that we're foreseeing at this point, although afternoons will get a little bit breezy, especially with that general southwest flow aloft. There will be some periods of some afternoon breezes, but again, nothing that's really overly concerning for us at this time. So really our main fire weather concern this week is going to be thunderstorms and how they evolve with time. I showed you on that water vapor loop that there is some moisture that'll be rotating up this way. And the first threat of seeing some of that moisture is going to come Monday afternoon and evening. I have in this image kind of the amount of moisture that's associated with that monsoonal energy moving this way. And I've circled in black the area that has the best chance of seeing a shower or thunderstorm on Monday. So you'll see generally across the southern fire weather districts, so the Beaverhead Deer Lodge, the Bitterroot, and maybe some portions of the Nez Perce National Forest could see a few strikes on Monday. But really our biggest concern for thunder is going to be in these areas that are highlighted in red. So that's the areas that have the most monsoonal moisture moving in. Thus we have pretty high confidence that there's going to be scattered thunderstorms in those areas. And so you'll see that's primarily over the Beaverhead Deer Lodge National Forest. Now, I don't want to call these dry thunderstorms because it does look like we're going to be slowly moistening up with time. The best potential of actually seeing some rain with storms is going to be across the southern portions of these fire districts. Whereas as you move further north across the Beaverhead Deer Lodge, those are going to be the areas where we're going to probably see more of a mix of wet and dry storms and just not as much moisture to work with. So those will be our areas of primary concern, but those of you in the Bitterroot and in the Clear Nez, you guys will still have some potential to see a few strikes on Monday. Now as we move forward into Tuesday, you'll see that area of moisture actually moves a little bit further northward. So we're going to be getting more concerned for the Clearwater Nez Perce, the Bitterroot, and even up into the Lolo National Forest and over the CSKT area. So you'll see that general shift in convection further north with time. One other thing I'll say about Tuesday is there's a chance of seeing some nocturnal thunderstorms Monday night into Tuesday morning across generally the same area here that I have circled in black. So that's just something to keep in mind. You know, they probably won't be scattered type coverage, but we will maintain some thunderstorms into the overnight hours, Monday night into Tuesday morning. And again, with these storms on Tuesday, I think there's going to be a mixed threat. Some of them could be a little bit wetter, but for the most part, it's going to be a mix of wet and dry storms. Looking out through the rest of the week, it looks like Wednesday is probably going to be our driest day. And then as we get into Thursday, Friday, the threat of showers and thunderstorms is going to continue to expand across most all of the area. So we'll bring more details to you on that as we move forward with our upcoming briefings. But overall, it does look like a fairly active week for thunderstorm activity across the area. This is a look at the 6 to 10 day outlook. Generally, most of our forecast models are kind of showing that area of high pressure maintaining itself, and so that's where we're seeing these chances of above average temperatures and below average precipitation. So here's a look at our weather threat matrix, and really the colors painted on here are largely around thunderstorm coverage and days that we're most concerned with those thunderstorms. So you'll see Monday I have north central Idaho and southwest Montana highlighted, with southwest Montana seeing the best shot. And then again on Tuesday that threat moves further north into west central Montana. So that's kind of what we're looking at for this week moving forward. One change that we are going to make now that we're starting to really get into fire season and we're having more activity with thunderstorms and such, we're going to step up our briefings to 3 times a week. So we'll continue a recorded briefing on Sunday and Thursdays, and we're going to be adding one in on Tuesdays as well. So with that in mind, our next briefing is scheduled for Tuesday, July 30th. And in the meantime, feel free to hit us up if you have any questions or concerns. Thank you.